Although all negotiations will be different, all negotiations will probably follow a fairly similar process. What I'd like to introduce you to now are the 6 stages that the majority of negotiations will go through. These provide a guide to you, a handrail if you like, that will help you manoeuvre your way through the negotiation. So stage 1 of the negotiation is planning and preparation. As I mentioned earlier, probably 90% of your success as a negotiator will be down to the planning and preparation that you do. And in a few minutes, I'm going to take you through negotiation planning step by step. The better prepared you are, the better deal you're going to be able to negotiate. And also, most importantly, you're going to feel really confident if you're planned and prepared successfully for the negotiation. So we then move to stage 2 of the negotiation, the discuss stage, or what is sometimes also referred to as the and/or argue stage, because sometimes negotiations will start from a point of disagreement, or occasionally during the discuss stage they may spiral downwards into a bit of a disagreement. If planning and preparation is responsible for about 90% of your negotiation success, the discuss stage was probably going to take 70 to 80% of the time in the negotiation. That's because it's all about information gathering and information giving. In the discuss stage, you want to get inside the head of the other negotiator, get inside the head of the other person, asking lots of really good questions to gather all the important information that you need to be able to craft a deal that's going to work for them too. You're going to be giving information and you're going to be seeking information. And good negotiators will gather twice as much information, approximately, as they give information. It's approximately a 2-to-1 ratio, which, by the way, does mean that you're going to have to be listening probably at least twice as much as you are speaking. Then when I really understand your position in the negotiation and you understand my position, I understand what you want and you understand fully what I want, we're able to work out what the likely distance is between us. I ideally want this and you ideally want that. Then we're moving on to stage 3, which is the signalling and proposing stage. A signal is a little sign that one or other negotiator will send to the other party, indicating some flexibility or to start the conversation off, and then we'll move forward to a proposal. Perhaps we should talk about area X on the contract. Or maybe we could start by exploring the length of the agreement. Then we move into the bargaining stage. This is what most people understand by negotiation. This is the backwards and forwards of trading concessions or value, where I will get what I want in return for what you want. This is characterized by conditional proposals, such as if you give me some of this, then I will give you some of that. And we manage the total value of the deal as we move through, constructing a deal or an arrangement that works for both of us before we finally move through to stage 5, which is the close and agree stage, where we agree what the deal looks like, shake hands, and perhaps even sign on the dotted line on the contract. Then you might be forgiven thinking that all the hard work is over. However, stage 6 is about making the deal work. Once you've got the deal, once you've got the agreement, you need to make sure that you follow through on what you said you would do and that the other party follow through on what they said they are going to do. So the 6 stages of negotiation. Stage 1, planning and preparation. Stage 2, discuss and/or argue. Stage 3, signalling and proposing. Stage 4, bargaining. Stage 5, closing and agreeing. And stage 6, making it work. So now let's go into detail about preparing for a negotiation. And what you'll be able to download is a copy of my negotiation planning template that will basically guide you step by step through planning thoroughly for a negotiation. So let's look at some of the key things you need to consider as part of your planning and preparation. The first thing is you need to be absolutely clear about your negotiation objectives. You need to be very clear before you go into the negotiation exactly what it is that you want to achieve. If you go in with a kind of unclear idea of what you're going to achieve, then you'll probably come out with a very different package than you expected. Very important thing is to write down your negotiation objectives. My recommendation is you use my SMASH formula. SMASH stands for specific, measurable, achievable, stretching and harmonious. It's an objective setting framework. So specific, what exactly is it that you want to achieve? Let me use the example of a contract. You wish to sign a contract with XYZ company. That's the specific. That's what you want to come out of the negotiation with. The M stands for measurable. How will you know when you've done it? What are the measures of success? So what are the measures of revenue as part of the contract, or the length of the contract, or the things you want to have as part of it? Then we move on to the A, the achievable. Is, as far as you're aware at the time of setting the objective achievable for you and the other person? And most importantly, are you negotiating with somebody who has the authority level to do the deal? The S stands for stretching. This is where you push yourself as a negotiator and really raise the bar on what you think is possible for you to do. So achievable anchors it as being quite realistic, and then stretching starts to push the boundaries of what's possible in the negotiation. And then H stands for harmonious, or possibly even holistic, is that you set your objective while thinking about the objective of the other person. So specific, measurable, achievable, stretching and harmonious objectives. And it's also good practice when you're setting your objective to give some very deep thought to what objective the other party is going to want to do. So what might their SMASH objective be? Now, I mentioned the measurable stage where you think about the characteristics or the component parts of what a good deal will look like with you, but due to the nature of negotiation, it's often not possible to set a very fixed target before you start. What you may have to do is give yourself a range within which you're going to be able to negotiate. This is what I call LIM, like, intend and must. It's the negotiation range within which a deal can be done. And it applies to both parties. They will have a like, an intend and a must. They will have a negotiation range that works for them, and you will have a negotiation range that works for you. The overlap of those is what we call the bargaining arena. Within the bargaining arena, a deal can be struck. And the extremes of the arena are like is your ideal outcome. So your like will be the most fantastic result you realistically could hope to get. They're really stretching. If you got your like, you will be doing cartwheels in the car park after the negotiation. Intend is your realistic expectation based upon what you understand of the other party and the market and the commercial constraints within which the negotiation is working. And your must, very important, you must get. If you don't get your must, you walk away. Your must, if you like, is your walk away point. You must know your must before you start negotiating. Not all deals are worth doing, and if you don't get your must, then the deal is not going to work and you're going to walk out the door and leave it behind. Another part of negotiation planning is to consider the balance of power between yourself and the other party in the negotiation. Negotiation success is a lot about power, or more accurately, negotiation success is a lot about the perception of the power between one party and the other party. Interestingly, when I'm training negotiators in companies all over the world and I ask them who has the most power, them or the other person in the negotiation, 75% of the time approximately, they will tell me that the other party has more power. Now that cannot possibly be true, so therefore that means that most people underestimate their own power and overestimate the power of the other person in negotiation situations. So a power analysis is where you look at the sources of your power, the things that contribute to your power in the negotiation, and then you think about the things that contribute to the other person's power in the negotiation. Then have a think about how you can emphasize and leverage your sources of power and diminish or neutralize their sources of power. We'll go on to talk about power a little bit later, but please remember for now it is about the perception of power that's most important. So make sure that your perception is accurate and appropriate. Another important part of planning is to think about your shopping list and the shopping list of the other person. If you're anything like me, if you go to your supermarket without a shopping list, you come home missing some of the items you meant to purchase. It's no different in negotiation. Before you go in, you need to plan and consider all the things that you want on your shopping list, the things that are important to you, and then do your best to think about the things that are on the other party's shopping list. Because when we move on to stage 4 in the negotiation process, the bargaining stage, we're going to trade items from one shopping list to the other. I'm going to give you some of what you want, and you're going to give me some of what I want. So it's really important to think about those shopping lists as we go through. And then maybe the final stage of negotiation planning is to think about the sort of person you're going to be negotiating with. What do you understand about them? What do you understand about their personality? How they're likely to respond and behave based upon your prior experience or any knowledge that you can gather about that person. Combining all of these things together, you're able to think about the strategy for your negotiation and the sequence of the conversation that you're going to have. The foundation of successful negotiation is planning and preparation, so please make sure you spend the time to do that. So please download your negotiation planning template and work through that. My recommendation is you use it, practice on a real live negotiation situation that you are going to face. Go through the negotiation planning template step by step, write down all of the answers, complete the template, and that will put you in the position of being thoroughly planned and prepared for the negotiation. And please feel free to download the template and use it every single time you go into an important negotiation. It's going to make a massive contribution to your negotiation success.